On day 2, I'll go looking around Alajuela, while then we'll go to Palmares to go to church, and then to San Jose to the craft market. In Alajuela, we've been staying at the Backpackers Inn. I will follow this route. I'll walk over to the Central Square, go around it, and then go over to the Central Market, go through it before I go back to the hotel and get ready to get on the bus. There's a park with a children's playground right across the street from our hotel, and I'll be walking past the Alajuela sign as I go to downtown. Red-fronted parrots are all over everywhere, almost like pigeons here. And there are also various monuments to various people around as I approach the Central Square. Almost every Costa Rican town, or even Spanish town, has a central square in the middle of its city. Located on this one is the Historical Museum, and then next to it in the yellow building is the Central Methodist Church. On around the square, we come to the Catholic Cathedral of Alajuela. Inside is a very beautiful church with its painted ceilings and windows. The square has many large papaya trees, and the fruit just kind of falls right out if you're not careful on your head. At 6:30 in the morning, the streets are pretty well abandoned, and the market doesn't even open till 7. But when it opens, I go exploring a little bit, walking through it. Once I get back to the hotel, I head up to the observation deck and take a slow panoramic view around the city and the volcanoes that surround it. Es más grande, Él es más fuerte, Él es quien reina en los cielos, Él es quien sana, grandioso en poder, nuestro Dios, nuestro Dios. Down in the lobby, they're getting ready for church and heading out on the internet to see what's going on. Then we head out towards Fred's house. We'll be taking a little bit longer look than normal because the weather is good right now, and you can see what it's like to drive through a Costa Rican town. This early in the morning on Sunday, it's still a little bit shut down, but there are people out bicycling, and everywhere you look, there are speed bumps to slow you down. Then down a dirt road, and we arrive at Fred's. Fred's house is kind of out in the middle of nowhere right now, but it has a beautiful view. And the gardens are beautiful around it. This is the gate that lets you into the property, and you never know what you'll find. This large grasshopper is about 6 inches long, and these vested wasps are around everywhere, but they don't seem to be excited about stinging people. Since we're all dressed up in our finery, we decide to take a picture of the team. And there's another team with us from Christ United Methodist. We take a picture with them too. Then it's time for breakfast: pancakes, eggs, turkey bacon, and fresh fruit. And then we head out to Palmyra's United Methodist Church, where we'll be worshiping today. The other group in the bus in front of us is going with us, and we pass a soccer club on the way. Once sugarcane is planted, it'll produce a new crop every 60 to 90 days for about 10 years, and then it needs to be replanted again. As it grows up, it continues to produce leaves until finally there's so many there they have to be burned off. It'll be cut and put on wagons like this and then hauled to a central collection place where it'll be carried to the plant. And then it'll grow a new crop in about 60 days. Coffee is another crop that is grown in this area in large quantities. It's usually grown with other crops like bananas to shade it so that it can grow in its best habitat. It has a life cycle, and after a while has to be cut down and replanted, and it takes about 5 years for it to start producing flowers. The beans, which are called cherries, ripen about 8 months after the flowers, and then they're hand-picked. They can be loaded into bags, or most of them are dumped into bins like this when big trucks come and collect them. They're carried to the plant where they're washed, and then they're laid out to dry. Once they've dried, then they will be roasted. Light roast or dark roast. And you can see some young plants that have been planted here. It'll take about 5 years before they start producing. Also, there's a lot of house plants being grown in this area under the cover to keep them shaded. There's fruit trees in a variety of places here. And then there's also cattle, both beef cattle and dairy cattle being grown. The area that's not in agriculture is in jungle, and there's many roadside vendors along the way. The gas stations don't price their gas anymore on their signs, and now we've arrived at Palmyra's. Around a twisty, curvy road, we eventually come to Palmyra's church. It has extensively been changed since this picture, with a new worship sanctuary and Sunday school building being built. They have beautifully landscaped the area also around the church. As set up on top of the hill used to be an old tin building they used for Sunday school and where we ate. But it's now been replaced by a modern concrete building that is in the process of being constructed. Last time we were here, we worshiped in the old sanctuary. They will be building and finishing up the new Sunday school building, and we'll be worshiping in the new sanctuary.
Y es el día que el Señor ha hecho especialmente para bendecirte.
This is the day that the Lord has made for your blessings.
agradecemos en esta mañana por la oportunidad de estar aquí, Señor. Queremos pedirte de una forma especial que tú bendigas a estos grupos, que vengan a bendecir la iglesia, Señor.
After they pray for us, it's time for us to leave so they can have church without having to translate it. With some beautiful singing. And now we drive back through Palmares, and as you can see, there's many more people out, and the square is starting to fill up with people. There's many small communities like this one around, and bus stops are everywhere. They ride a lot of buses to get where they're going. And 18-wheelers are here because this is the Pan American Highway. We eat lunch at Fred's, a stew on rice, and then we head out through downtown Alajuela on our way to San Jose. As we drive through the town, you'll notice that when a store is open, it's wide open. There's no door that you have to open. In this area, many of the places are still closed, but some are wide open and ready for business. And even the restaurants don't really have screens on them. And you may see these guys sitting at these little tables and selling stuff. What they're selling is lottery tickets. And then we head out for San Jose with the mountains around us, down the Pan American Highway with its high traffic and its volcanoes on both sides. And soon we're there in downtown. And as you can see, many people have now come out this afternoon to shop and to walk on the streets on Sunday. The downtown square is alive with people everywhere. And soon we're driving by the main cathedral for San Jose, Cathedral Metropolitana. We now come to the market, the Mercado, the artisans market. And basically it's just a tin structure in the middle of a whole bunch of modern buildings. This blue will show you where we're going to be shopping. Next door is a park and then the National Museum. And then over here is the government complex. Let's go do a little looking around and buying things. As stated, this complex is right next door to modern buildings and a park, and it has beautiful paintings along its wall. Across the park is the National Museum of Costa Rica, and then down the street just a few minutes is the Legislative Assembly building, their capital. Then as we leave the artisans market, it starts to rain. But we're going to stop at Pop's for ice cream for the first time. We'll stop many times. Some of us got more than others. Then back at Fred's for supper and a rest. Do our devotions, and then it'll be time to head back to the hotel.
There's no one like you, none like you. Into the darkness we shine, yes, queremos
nuestro corazón.
She wants to talk about what the word says about preparing our hearts.
Nosotros al estar acá es porque hemos preparado nuestro corazón para servir.
If we are here, it's because we have prepared our hearts to serve.
Tal vez
As we go to the hotel, we stop at a grocery store so we can do some shopping, the Mega Superstore. And of course you got to buy snacks and pop and other necessities of life, and this ends this day.